Hello, can I be of any assistance?
Oh, hello. I've just moved into the building and I heard there was a residents' meeting soon.
Oh, you just moved in. Oh, well, welcome.
Thank you. You're the chairman, I assume. Brian Robbins?
That's me. And you are?
Julie Deckerell.
Deckerell.
Yes. Dekeyyrel.
Oh, right. Well, very pleased to meet you, Julie.
Well, likewise, Brian.
Ah, so you've moved into where the Turpins used to live, 15C?
That's right. I just fell in love with the place the moment I walked in.
Stunning views from that side of the building and from the 15th floor.
Absolutely magnificent.
Well, anyway, you wanted to know about the meeting, didn't you?
Yes, that's right. Thought I'd better get involved sooner rather than later.
Good idea. The thing is, we have an agenda, but we've not set the date yet.
Oh, I see.
So what I can do is put a note in your mailbox, or...
Actually, I'm going to be out of town on business for a few days.
Okay, well, I can give you a quick ring if you like.
Would you?
Of course, no problem.
Well, that's very kind. Can I give you my mobile number then?
Yeah, just a second. Okay, yeah, fire away.
Okay, 0986 2453 9237.
0986 2453 9237.
That's right. So you say you've got the agenda already?
We have. I haven't got a copy with me, but I can probably tell you off the top of my head.
If you could, that would be great. I'll just make a note.
Oh, okay. Well, issue number 1 is the roof, of course. I'm assuming you are aware of the repair that's needed.
Oh, yes. Don't worry. I was informed about that.
Okay, and the number 2 is also a quite high-cost item, the swimming pool. We need to have it cleaned before the summer starts, but we weren't very satisfied with the company that did it last year.
I see. So we're looking for a new pool cleaning company?
Yes, probably. Also, the issue of the bus stop. It's being moved further away from the entrance of the residence, and some of the retired residents aren't happy about it.
So we need to take that up with the local council, I imagine.
That's right, but we need to determine just how many people are actually against it being moved, and then if there are sufficient, what our approach to the council is going to be exactly.
Oh, quite a lot to discuss then.
Yes, as always, and there's one more thing, the monthly meal.
The monthly meal? What's that?
Oh, well, a lot of us go out together just once a month to have dinner. We try to go somewhere new each time, somewhere...
So we have to cut the agenda for this meeting because we simply don't have the time to cover everything. So what do you think? What's priority at the moment and what can we leave for another day?
Well, I really feel we need to discuss the noise issue. It's getting worse every weekend.
Well, I second that.
Okay, so that's the first issue. Now we've also got the staffing issue. Also, pest control has not yet been sorted out. There's the library planning issue, which we also need to discuss, the planting of more trees, and something we mustn't forget, the Christmas party.
Well, I'd be very much in favour of discussing the trees. I mean, we've had that on the agenda for several months now, and we haven't moved forward on that at all.
Well, that's very true, but shouldn't we be giving priority to the pest control? We certainly don't want a repetition of what happened last winter.
I think we probably already know what action we'd like to take on the pest control, no?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So we can keep that on the agenda and deal with it quite quickly.
Okay, as long as we can do that quickly. And the trees issue?
Well, the other thing that I think we at least need to make a start on is the Christmas party. You know how quickly everything gets booked up.
But there's still 10 weeks to go. I think it could wait another week.
I could go along with that.
Okay then. And what about the staffing issue? It's going to take a few weeks to find a good replacement for George.
And also the planning permission for the extension to the library is something we have to discuss. If that goes ahead, it will block a lot of light from our apartments.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably more important than the trees, actually.
I agree. So we need to discuss that today. And the trees, time permitting.
Okay then, the trees, time permitting.
Okay, and then coming back to the staffing issue.
If we're going to deal with the noise problem properly, I don't think we can fit it in.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, let's leave it. So we've got our agenda for today. Let's make a start. Right, so we need to take some action regarding the noise levels at the weekend.
Absolutely. Well, we've got 3 problems, not just the one. There's the noise from the builders who are making a new path through the garden. Then there's a new group of young children who seem to be gathering around the benches on Saturday and Sunday afternoons, and they can be very noisy sometimes. I noticed they had a stereo with them last week. And then there's the dogs.
Yes, the dogs seem out of control. I don't know who the owners are.
Well, let's take one at a time. The builders first. I mean, we have to expect a certain amount of noise from builders, don't we?
Yeah, but not at 7 in the morning or on the weekend.
We'd like them to start a bit later.
Well, how much later?
Well, ideally a couple of hours later.
Okay, well, I'll speak to them about that. Now, the noise from the children.
Well, I really think we need to get some security on the main gate. We could try to contact the children's parents, but that would be very time-consuming and with no guarantee of success.
I agree. Well, we'll ask security to mend the main gate as soon as possible. Okay, and then thirdly, the dogs.
Well, I was wondering if we should think about petitioning off a section of the garden area for residents with dogs. It would prevent them from running around everywhere, and if we allocate the area furthest from the apartments, we wouldn't hear so much of the noise.
That sounds like a very good idea. We can even get some professional help in to train the owners and keep the noise to a minimum.
Good. So we'll try to move those suggestions
everyone.
forward.
Okay, so for this, my final presentation of the politics module, I'd like to talk about some initiatives for change in society. Actually, I've come up with 6 main areas where I think improvements could be made, and these areas are the role of local residents, the welfare system, the health system, volunteering, being green, and finally, immigration. So I'll start with the role of local residents. I think there's a lot to be gained in allowing local people the vote on local issues. If we give people the power to say yes or no to changes in their local community, then I'm sure this will lead to happier, more integrated communities. So that's the first point. In addition, local people should be allowed to take control of local services. For example, local people could form a cooperative to run the local post office or the local bus service. In this way, everyone would feel a stronger attachment to their local communities. They would take more of an interest, and this would make for a better local society. Okay, secondly, the welfare system. The welfare system needs to be amended because rather than helping people in need, it is having a rather different effect. It is not really helping many of these people because giving someone a free ride is not really helping them in the long term. Many of these people need help in getting their lives on track, not simply by being given handouts. Not only that, but also this welfare system is having a secondary negative effect by causing a rift between people. Basically, between people who are going out to work every day and the people who are able to but refuse to. So welfare needs to be distributed in a more effective way. My third point concerns the health system. I think most people would agree that a health system which requires a patient to wait for weeks or even months for treatment that they really need today is not a system at all. Certainly not an efficient one. We are told about the underinvestment in the health system, but this is an issue which I believe could be easily resolved. How many working adults would not willingly contribute a little more from their monthly salary if the system did the job it needs to? Health is a central, fundamental issue for all of us, and it needs to be given priority. So for a society to be a happy society, people need to be healthy and need to be able to trust in the health system. Moving on to my next point then, volunteering. Volunteering is a kind of given in many societies in the world. Many people volunteer on a regular basis for a whole range of tasks. In this country, however, volunteering is almost laughed at. There seems to be this feeling of only a fool works for nothing. This is an attitude which needs to change because, of course, volunteers do not work for nothing. The rewards to society and to themselves for a job well done are very significant. This attitude change needs to start with the younger generation for it to be sustainable. So we need programs which encourage, help, and support young people in volunteering. Another basic which needs to be in place for society to be a happy society is a strong policy on green issues. And this is related to my first point. If people are going to take a more caring role, then they need to see the government is doing all it can to ensure our environment is being looked after. So there really needs to be more incentives for people to buy green goods and behave in greener ways. Prices for green products need to be revised, and rewards for green behaviors need to be increased. Okay, I've nearly finished. My final point is about immigration. Now please, don't get me wrong on this. I welcome immigration. I think it makes for a richer, more interesting society, or at least it should do. But the immigration policy needs to be more than just an open door for anyone who wishes to come and wishes to take advantage of what we have available here, without, for example, giving anything back. I think regarding this point, the government needs to look more closely at the country's manpower requirements and take a more focused approach towards the profiles of immigrants. Clearly, we welcome people from other lands, but we also need them to be able to contribute to society, to a society that we want to build. Okay, that's it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you
good
very much for
afternoon,
listening.
and welcome to Module 6 of Our Developing World. As we all know, today is Friday. That means tomorrow is the busiest shopping day of the week. Take a trip to the city centre tomorrow afternoon, and you will see worshippers at the shrine of consumerism out in force. The aisles will be packed, there will be queues at all the checkouts, and the tills will be ringing out as coins, notes and credit cards are received. Every Saturday, the same ritual is played out across the developed world. Millions of people spending money they have often yet to earn on goods they don't really need. So, does this represent the high point of human civilization? Well, it may seem to us that today, in the developed society in which we live, that we have become obsessed with material goods, and that this is a new phenomenon, something which has developed recently as the developed world has become richer and richer. Well, it seems not. Although mass consumerism may be a 20th century invention, its roots apparently go back to the start of humanity. Before our ancestors invented writing, before they had laws and cities, before farming, even before the use of metal to make tools, there was trade. Trade, in the necessities of life, such as food and simple tools, is probably at least as old as our species. But what is really surprising is that our taste for objects with no obvious survival value, luxury items and prestige goods, also goes way, way back. For example, recent finds in Africa suggest that decorative objects were being manufactured and traded more than 100,000 years ago. It seems that humans are, in fact, born to trade, and we don't even need shops or money to do it. Anthropologists have found evidence from modern hunter-gatherers that leaves little doubt that the exchange of food and favours comes naturally, as does the ability to keep a tab of the credits and debits that accrue as a result. Combine this aptitude for mental bookkeeping with even the most basic material culture and trade, it seems flows on naturally. But even if our Stone Age ancestors were exchanging tools, food and other essentials of life in a barter economy, this is a far cry from the shopping mall. Modern consumerism goes way beyond subsistence and utilitarianism to include everything from Gucci handbags and BMW convertibles to impressionist paintings and designer bling. Clearly, the value of such goods is not inherent, but resides in certain intangible qualities that we invest in them. So, when did we start to connect certain values to certain objects? Well, some progress on this question has been made by archaeologist Amy Plurd from the University of California. She suggests that the answer lies in understanding the bigger question of how our ancestors made the transition from living as free hunter-gatherers to living in materialistic, hierarchical societies that we now equate with modern civilization. The basis of her argument is that even in free, equal societies, some people are more successful than others. Among our ancestors, superior skills in areas such as hunting, crafts, environmental knowledge, and contact with neighbouring groups would have brought respect, admiration, and privileged treatment from others. In other words, it would have brought prestige. And because prestige brings social benefits, people would want to show off their talents. The best way to do this is through material items that are hard to fake. For instance, a hunter could advertise his skills by wearing the tooth of an animal that is elusive, or even dangerous. Plord goes on to explain that the benefits of prestige would also lead to competition to acquire it. So, as a result, the value and variety of prestige goods would spiral, and systems of social ranking would, at the same time, become more and more complex, as individual prestige led first to leadership of the group, and later to the stratified hierarchies you find in more complex societies. So, if Plord's theory is correct, prestige goods seem to form a direct link between, on the one hand, our innate drive for trade, and on the other, the development of complex hierarchical societies. Seen in this way, goods which signify prestige are arguably the first step on the road to modern civilization, paving the way for agriculture and urbanization. So, we may not be impressed by beads, axes, and fishing hooks anymore, but their modern equivalents have the same fascination for us today. If you have your sights set on buying a Ferrari or Porsche soon after you graduate, nobody will be fooled that you wish to do so for the thrill of travelling at 180 miles per hour. We will all know you're buying an exclusive status symbol for the prestige. But don't worry, because, after all, you're only being civilized.